Hello, beautiful people. Today is 28th of June. My name is Sahil, and welcome to Newspaper Analysis. Friends, he is Frederick Hayek, the most prominent vocal of liberalism and proponent of liberty. He says that a free society is also endangered by the attempt to have a purer and more unrestrained system of political democracy. So, yes, it can happen that sometime the democracy becomes the enemy of the most important fundamental of democracy, that is a free society. And if you want, I can tell you this particular thing via the actions of certain state leaders. For example, take the example of 1975 emergency, when in order to save the democracy, the freedom of the people were taken subtly into the form of suspension of fundamental rights, in term of imprisonment of the political leaders, and non-toleration of the dissent. Secondly, take the example of USA. Into the name of preserving the political democracy and pure democracy, it has crippled the life of people into the Middle East. It has undertaken a war with the Vietnam and all such endeavors, such as the Panama Canal episode, and these things you might have read. So, friends, this particular quote is very relevant for our GS paper number 2 as well as onto the paper on essay. Now, friends, the main question that I gave you yesterday. So it says that India's claim for permanent membership in UNSC is a genuine demand into the change geopolitics of 21st century. Comment and also highlight the impediments in India's quest to bring reform in United Nations Security Council. So, friends, we had discussed this particular issue also when we discussed India's recent election onto the non-permanent seat into the United Nations Security Council. Now, first of all, guys, please don't write here the membership of the UNSC and all that kind of stuff, because that thing has not been asked into the question and you will just be wasting your time and energy. So directly come on to the core particular issue. However, into the introduction, you can initiate that why such question has been asked, and it is a very good way to start a question answer. So you can start that India had recently been elected onto the non-permanent seat of the United Nations Security Council, but it is the half-hearted fulfillment of the aspirations of Asia, because seeing the changing geopolitics of 21st century, Asia happens to be the major dominant power but had not been given the representation onto the UNSC, and therefore there is an urgent need to bring such kind of reforms. And guys, even into the Asia, India represents the world's largest democracy, and therefore being such immense leader, the role should be given to the India also. However, guys, you'll develop onto these lines, but also we need to mention the impediments. So guys, these impediments could be divided into sections: outside Asia and the within Asia. So guys, when first if we talk about the outside Asia, you know that none of the permanent member genuinely wants to dilute their power and wants to invite the other members such as India, because you know the theory of zero sum game, which believes that the power is limited and if it is decentralized it will altogether vanish. Therefore nobody wants the entry of India or such other countries. And secondly, within the Asia there are the international rivalries, such as apprehensions of China with the India, apprehensions of Pakistan with the India, and all other such kind of rivalries. And on this line you need to give more attention. And finally, into the conclusion, you need to write that Asia can enjoy the 21st century only onto the basis of cooperation and not onto the basis of conflict. Therefore, it is high time that the countries should come together and collectively they should boast about the Asian leadership. So, friends, in this particular way, you could give line to your answer. And now let's take up the newspaper analysis. Friends, first let's take up the overview of the entire paper. So, first, here we can see that the Colombo has asked requested India to postpone the debt repayment. So, here we'll see the issues associated. Then, guys, we'll see a case study of the rural areas as how they had served as an important centers of governance. Then, guys, moving forward, so classified page not important. Guys, with respect to the urbanization, GS paper 1, we'll see certain emerging trends into the post COVID world housing sector. After that, guys, moving forward, so into the between, only the positive news, COVID news has been given, not important, guys, please don't even care to look here. Now, friends, here the government had approved the use of dexamethasone. So, this particular drug is administered to people who are in need of critical care, the people who are onto the oxygen support or onto the ventilator, and in them it has shown the result. So, now the health ministry has also approved this particular drug. Then, guys, the need to push the farm sector reforms, will see this thing what is here. Then, guys, the debt crisis, Sri Lanka is turning to China, will see the important implications. Then, guys, onto the world page, only the conflict and all these kind of things are there, not important for our exam. Onto the business page also, the corporate news have been given, so not important for the exam. Then, guys, the science and tech, the highlight of today. So we will see the dolphin piers, the warm beginning. Then, guys, the black hole merger, recent one will see. Then Indian Oceans new pattern will be seeing. Guys, I'll highly recommend that please don't go into the coronavirus related news, because it is changing every day and nothing substantial have been achieved. Then, guys, on to the FAQ page, 1921 Malabar Rebellion has been mentioned, and the US visa ban has been mentioned here. After that, guys, on to the sports page, nothing important has been there. So that's all. And now let's take up the newspaper analysis in detail. Now starting up, so guys, here we can see that the Sri Lanka has asked India to postpone their loan repayment or the debt repayment. Now, guys, we'll go into the background and we will also see what are the implications of this particular matter. Now, guys, Sri Lanka has taken a lot of loan as well as a developmental assistance from the different organizations as well as from sovereign countries. Now, according to estimates, Sri Lanka has taken nearly $55 billion of loan from China, Japan, Asian Development Bank, World Bank, as well as from India. Now, guys, majority of money has either been invested into the infrastructure projects or have been used for meeting the other debt related obligation of Sri Lanka. And now, as the pandemic is going on, Sri Lanka's financial conditions are bad and is not able to pay back to the countries from which it has taken the loan. So it has made a special request to India that India should postpone the repayment that was to pay back. Moreover, not only this thing, Sri Lanka had also asked a swap agreement from India. Now, friends, when we talk about swap agreement, it is very simple here. Simply, two countries will exchange each other's currency. So, idea here is that one country will take other country's stronger currency and will use it for the foreign payments. And guys, these swap agreements have a term. After that term, the original currency which was swapped will be paid back at a agreed price. So, along with the postponement of repayment, two separate swap facilities have been asked by Sri Lanka, and one of them has been asked under the SARC facility. You know that both of them are the members of SARC. So, under that particular trust, it is asking the swap money. Now, guys, if we talk about the implications of this entire episode, Sri Lanka is playing very smart. As on one hand, it has asked from India, where India has not shown any positive signal, but on to the other hand, it has also asked the money from the China, and China in response had even agreed to provide nearly $500 million to Sri Lanka, because if you remember, then China is having a strategy that is string of pearls, where in China wants to contain India, and Sri Lanka is a very strategic point, and from very long China is making the good relations with Sri Lanka, and if Sri Lanka is automatically coming to China, it is a golden opportunity. And guys, here I will introduce the concept of the debt diplomacy, where by providing the financial assistance, countries make the good relation and seek the favorable position. Now, here we can say that India is not performing very well into the debt diplomacy, because any positive signal has not been given by India, neither onto the swap nor onto the postponement, and China is making the strategic position. Moreover, guys, this particular move is even more important because recently Japan's International Cooperation Agency had said that they will stop the aid which they were giving to the Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka is even in more dire need of money, and guys, the China will favorably exploit the position here, and you know that the neighborhood relations of India are not good at this point of time, and if Sri Lanka will also incline towards China, so guys, there could also be a geostrategic angle here. Now guys, moving forward, and if we make the picture of the entire region, then guys, all the countries are having a bad time. For example, Maldives is also not in a condition to pay back the money which it has taken from the India as well as from the other organizations. And guys, into the times to come, Maldives might also be asking a debt or the assistance, and there also China can interfere. So the bottom line is this, that India needs to ramp up the financial diplomacy into the region so that India can maintain the stronghold with the neighbors, because as said by the Indra Kumar Gujral, your neighbors are your first wall of defense, and if it fell into the favor of China, then India will have a much dire consequences into the times to come. So guys, that's all about this particular issues analysis, and now we'll move to next. Now, here, friends, just as a case study or a reference, we can use the example of the rural Gurugram, as they have been very much effective in fighting the COVID 19. And specifically, the Wazirpur village into the Gurugram has performed exemplary on various fronts. For example, even before the lockdown started, the village administration has distributed the Ayurvedic medicines to the people in order to build up the immunity against the COVID 19. Secondly, as the lockdown started, the barricades onto the village periphery wall installed, and everybody was to be thermally scanned before entering into the village. And within the village, the panchayat members were asked to keep an eye onto the people who are venturing without the masks. After that, the people into the villages were kept under vigilance if they have any influenza like illness, because that is the symptom of the COVID 19. And guys, throughout the lockdown phase, not even a single case had came from the Wazirpur village, though some cases came into the nearby region after the unlock started. Moreover, the concern of the vulnerables have also been taken care of. For example, the village made the database of all the tenants or the people living into the rent, and it was made sure that they don't face any exploitation. After that, the migrant people who were returning back, for them proper quarantine facilities were established, and community kitchens were also established for the people who are in distress, and food were allocated to all of them. And in all this thing, community participation has been most crucial with respect to the financial resources, manpower resources, as well as with respect to the raw material. So, by seeing this example, we can say that the vision by which panchayats were established, that is, they will act as an institution of empowering the grassroots democracy, has been proved successful. Moreover, it has also been seen that able leadership with a wide vision can achieve the results in even into the times when the entire world is strained by the resources, manpower, and all that kind of problems. So friends, we can use it here into the case study. That's all. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here one interesting news item we'll see. In your GS paper number 1, the topic of urbanization has been mentioned. So, guys, there could be a possibility that a question can be asked that what changes could come into the urban landscape into the post pandemic world. So, guys, the urban landscapes will be changing. According to a research paper by Savills India, it has been seen that some changes into the attitude of the property buyers, particularly the residential property buyers, will be coming. So guys, now it is being estimated that people will be going for the integrated townships, because as the lockdown started, people faced inconveniences with respect to the accessibility of some basic services. So integrated townships will be more preferred. Moreover, smart homes will be preferred with the features such as contactless delivery provisions, a specific bay for sanitizing, and all these kind of things. And then, guys, a very fundamental change has come into the work dimensions, and now it has been expected that work from home will be the new normal. Therefore, the carved out work areas or workstations will be happening to be a new requirement into the homes. After that, it has also been said that people also prefer a home with a wellness concept so that they can take care of their health regime. And finally, the people are now also will be demanding the second homes into the offbeat locations such as hill stations, into far exterior countrysides, as well as at the popular tourist destinations such as Goa also. So that if a pandemic in future re-erupts, then guys, these options can be explored to maintain a safe social distancing from the mainstream society. So guys, these are some fundamental changes which will be coming into the urban living into the regions. But friends, there is a flip side also into this entire issue. See, all these choices and facilities can be afforded by the people who don't have monetary constraints. But what about the lower middle class people, poor class people? They can't afford to make these kind of choices. And because of this thing, into the society, a further divergence will be coming, a further distinction will be made, where on one hand there are the ghettos which have all these facilities, whereas on to the other hand there are the slums, chawls, and those kind of things where the mainstream India will be living. Moreover, we can also say that the housing choices will lead to even more fortification of the gated complexes. So friends, that's all. We can use it also into the essay papers also. And now we'll move to next. Friends, into the context of India, agriculture holds an important position in terms of number of people that are involved into the agriculture. Secondly, it also a major force which ensures the food security of India. And thirdly, guys, agriculture is not only an occupation, rather an emotion in India. But onto the ground, even after being so important, the agricultural reforms are missing from the landscape of India. And guys, as agriculture happens to be the state subject, the reform in agriculture is also left onto the mercy of the state governments. But state governments had repeatedly failed here. So guys, now even the government has recognized that we want to go for the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So guys, the food security is the most important security that we should look for. Moreover, as government has that farmers income will be doubled by 2024, again the agricultural reforms are very much necessary. So guys, in this particular direction, even if you are following regularly, we had seen that the central government has passed certain ordinances with respect to the agricultural reforms, contract farming, etc. Moreover, guys, apart from these ordinances, there are also the model acts on agricultural marketing, contract farming. There is also the Model Land Leasing Act of 2016, which was prepared by Niti Ayog. Friends, I told you that agriculture is a state subject, so therefore center don't have the direct power. It can make a model act which can be copied by the state, or can simply ask the state that you please do these kind of reforms. So therefore, what now the central government has decided, it has asked the 15th Finance Commission that you please make a clause into your report that the money which goes from center to the state will only go when the state will implement certain specific agricultural reforms. So it is just like a clause that your father decided that you will get his property only when you become an IAS officer or when you do this kind of thing. So friends, as you might have heard, that article number 280 of Indian Constitution makes provision for the Finance Commission, which tells that how money will be shared between the center and the state government. So now the 15th Finance Commission is to submit the final report in October. So certain performance based incentives are being asked to be put so that states are more motivated to work for the agricultural reforms. So friends, that's all behind this particular thing, and now we'll move to next. Now friends, here it has been seen that a strange merger has been noted into the space. Now what is all this merger about and why it is strange? See guys, the two objects might have been merged, that is one black hole and other is the neutron star. Now guys, both black hole as well as a neutron star are formed when a star collapses. So, friends, there is a life cycle of every star, and at the end, a star collapses under its own gravity, and then there is a supernova explosion. And after the supernova explosion, you can either get a black hole or you can get a neutron star. Now, guys, the black hole and neutron star are different in terms of their density, in terms of their mass, in terms of their size, and all these kind of things. See, in a nutshell, black hole are much larger in terms of the gravitational pull they are having, the density they are having, the mass they are having, and neutron star are just a kind of a miniature version. However, guys, this is the most simplistic explanation of this particular thing, and will not be going into that much of complication also, because not required. Now, guys, what has noted here, that two objects have been merged. Now, the one object is clearly a black hole, but there is a confusion that what is the other object which has been merged. Why? Because of the problem of the size. Now, guys, this particularly second object is nearly 2.6 times of the solar mass. And now, guys, because of this particular size, it is too large to be a neutron star and too small to be a black hole. So it is a confusion that this second object, what actually it is, a neutron star or a black hole. Friends, earlier there have been the mergers of the two black holes or the two neutron stars, but this is something very peculiar. Moreover, if you will see that, then there is a very huge anomaly of their mass also. One is a 2.6 of solar mass and other is 23.2 of solar mass. So this anomaly is also very strange. So, guys, for right now, it is being studied, and as the new data will come, it will be ascertained. Now, as we had discussed about thing, so second question comes, that who had identified this merger. So it has been identified by the LIGO as well as Virgo. Now, friends, LIGO is a in gravitational wave observatory of the USA, and it is located at two sites. One is the Hanford in USA, which is in Washington, and other is the Livingston, which is in Louisiana. And the second one, Virgo, it is situated in near the city of Pisa in Italy, and it is a collaboration between the six countries. And guys, both of them, the LIGO as well as Virgo, they collaborate with each other and study the gravitational waves. So, guys, when such kind of event occurs, then there are huge gravitational waves which spread as ripples across the world, and they are received by the earth also, and those waves are observed by both of them, and they had found this particular event. So, friends, that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, this particular news throws certain insights onto the changes into the climate patterns that may come. But before going into the news, let's take certain background. See, guys, you know that the Earth's history is divided into distinct eras, eons, periods, epochs, etc. So, guys, right now we are living into the age which is called as Holocene. Further, guys, you might be knowing that the Earth's climate run into a kind of a cycle. See, there will be an ice age when the temperatures will be very much low. Then, guys, there will be one warm age. So right now our Holocene is a warm age, and in between period is called as interglaciation, when the glaciers will melt and the condition like present time will be made. So, guys, the last ice age was the Pleistocene, and right now we are into the Holocene again. Then there will be one more ice age, then again there will be the a kind of a warm age. Now, into the ice age, the peak period is called as the last glacial maximum. And guys, at this point of time, one climate pattern came onto the earth, that was the Indian Ocean El Nino. Now, friends, you might have heard into the geography about the normal El Nino, which is nothing but a warm phase of the ENSO, that is the El Nino Southern Oscillation, which originates into the equatorial Pacific and predominantly brings more than average rainfall into the India. Guys, though there could be certain different patterns also associated with the El Nino. So now coming back to our topic. So, for friends, into the present time, The El Nino is part of the ENSO, which originates majorly from the situations into the equatorial Pacific. But the article says that during the last glacial maximum, there was the Indian Ocean El Nino, and now, due to the climate change, again this Indian Ocean El Nino will reawaken. It will be coming back and will bring even more severe kind of rainfall into the densely populated regions of the world, that are the countries such as India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and all of them. And due to that, the climate conditions will become bad for these countries. And guys, even earlier also during the ice age, when the Indian Ocean El Nino came, at that point of time the temperature into the ocean increased, and due to that we went towards the interglaciation, or we went towards the warm phase which we are seeing right now. Now guys, the question comes that how all this thing was ascertained. So it was done by studying a specific microscopic zooplankton which is called as foraminifera. Now guys, this foraminifera makes a special kind of calcium carbonate shell, and now the researchers have studied these shells, and by studying them the reconstruction can be made as what could have been the properties of water, what could have been the temperature of water during the interglacial maximum when the Indian Ocean El Nino came. And now guys, it is being suggested that again such kind of conditions are developing, that Indian Ocean El Nino might come. Moreover guys, Indian Ocean has much capacity that it can harbor much complex weather phenomena which could be now coming. So friends, moreover we can see that if such consistent rains will be coming, then a kind of a permanent equatorial mode will also be switched on into this particular region. So guys, that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now friends, here in brief we can see an observation which has been published into the Nature Geoscience journal. It has been said that the Pluto planet and various other planets into the Kuiper belt might initially be having the liquid oceans, but now they might have frozen over time. However, any confirmation will be coming once the images of Pluto's surface will be developed. However guys, only two things we need to see here. First of all, what is Pluto right now? Pluto right now has been called as the dwarf planet and not a regular planet. Secondly guys, this Kuiper belt. So what is Kuiper belt? Now you know that we have the sun in between, and then there are the eight planets. So guys, the region beyond these eight planets is called as the Kuiper belt region. So please keep in mind such kind of questions have been asked into the exam. Now guys, one question for you people, please write into the comment that why Pluto has been removed from the list of the regular planets. There are, I'm telling you, two major reasons. Please tell me what are they. And now guys, we'll go to the next. Now here guys, we will see an important technique, that is shelling. So guys, dolphins are very intelligent creature, and now it has been further established. So guys, it has been found that these dolphins used the empty shells to catch the fish, and these fishes then they are consumed by the dolphins as a part of their diet. So guys, this shelling is associated with the dolphins. Please keep in mind for the prelims. That's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, the topic on Malabar Rebellion and the US visa ban we had already discussed into the much larger detail on to the 24th June newspaper analysis you might have seen. So, I'll not waste your time by repeating it just because 2 3 days back we had seen. Moreover, guys, I am providing the time stamping for both the articles also. If you haven't seen, you can refer that also. So, guys, that's all. And now we'll move to the question section. Friends, please pause the video and try to answer the question. So, question number one is with respect to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Please consider the correct code. Now, question number two is with respect to international organization ASEAN. So, please consider that who are the members. Now, guys, the question number three is from history with respect to the Sardar Patel. So, please consider these statements. Guys, here, please consider the correct statement with respect to the floating rate saving bonds. So that's all. And as today's Sunday will not be having the mains question. Guys, I hope you are liking the discussion. Thank you so much.